Stuff. Here we go, and it's working. And we forgot to turn on the right thing so that we get an image. I do this so that LinkedIn has an image. Otherwise, it's just me every day. It doesn't look very interesting. This may not look interesting either, but it's a shiny fish on the outside of an envelope. We'll get to that in a second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're talking about direct marketing and direct mail today. Surprise. Anyway, I'm excited today. I've been working on RFM because I'm giving a talk for Brian Kurtz, and I'll put the link down below. But Brian Kurtz has a group of what he calls the Titans, and it's a bunch of marketing and advertising and business owners, and they get together most weeks for like 2 hours. I thought my 20-minute talk every day was a lot. But anyway, I guess if you added it up, it'd be about the same. Anyway, let's get over to the fun. This is from Print Impressions magazine, and it's a regular feature that I haven't really explored, and it's about a kind of foil printing that I wasn't familiar with, so I learned a bit.
Gleaming examples of what can be achieved with envelopes, which in many cases is the first thing a brand or marketer's customer will see of the direct mail that you produce. These examples were produced using a 4-color litho process on a 70-pound metallized stock from Nisha Metallizing Solutions. Registered embossing was used to create a tactile feel, which gives the envelope some added depth. This one also features a custom die-cut fish window on the back, which pushes the design even further. If I was a brand or marketer, I would love to get creative with something like this, because the little details can make a big difference. We spoke with Stephen White, Chief Marketing Officer at Parkland Direct, who explained that the brightness level on this type of application is much higher than cold foil with a lower price point. The process utilizes more than 93% of the paper, allowing this substrate to be an affordable option for large volume direct mail. If you have a cool printed application that you've seen or that you want to share, let us know. I'll include contact information below.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So, Parkland, I would guess that this isn't exclusive to Parkland, that it's a paper product that is available across the board. But I'll talk with printers I know, and I'll reach out to Parkland and tag them in the article. So I hope they'll comment and share, as that's what we do. Okay, so much for that. Let's go over to the regular news. Right, here we go. Okay, gay bars boycott. Can't even read this. Gay bar boycotts Bud Light. I don't know if it's gay bars, but it's gay bar boycotts Bud Light. This is from my friend Ask, and so we'll tag her in the article if we can. Sometimes we can't, but I always write to her because she has some of the most unusual and interesting content. So Grills, Seafood, Deck, and Tiki Bar put up an open letter. They too will clear away all their Bud Light branding, and beer from their restaurant. Okay, got it? This is a gay bar, though. You know, you thought the LGBTQ plus was together? Well, they don't like it either. And they said they've been promoting Bud Light for nearly 3 decades at their bar, but not anymore. And they said that they knew exactly what you were doing when you launched this campaign. This wasn't a marketing mistake. Your corporation knew the firestorm they would ignite. Somehow I doubt that's true, because it's like sales are down like $4 billion, and that's real money, even to them, I imagine. And Miller Lite and Coors Light have Coors Light. I mean, you might as well drink sparkling water. But anyway, it's not my favorite. I don't drink light beer. If I'm going to drink a beer, I'm going to drink a beer. Not Bud, not Miller, not nothing. No light beers for me. I don't drink much beer anyway. I Hams I drink lately. Hams beer because I remember the commercials. Uh, Hams beer tastes great wherever you go when I was a kid. Okay, so Bob Hoffman has a few wise words, and this is like spot on with what I would advise. Here it goes. Politics is nasty business. The minute you take a position on anything, you alienate half the population. Don't believe me? I'll send you some emails I get. Your job as a marketer is to sell stuff. And I think that is, Alyssa, I listened to her little talk, and I think she was trying to expand the market. But if you're not careful, if you market in a broad way where both your regular customers and your prospective new customers are both privy to the information, you have to tread very lightly. When we started the girls softball, the fast pitch softball catalog for Baseball Express, we wanted to make sure not to alienate the traditional softball express customers who were generally, volunteer firemen or something. So we didn't want to start putting, well, maybe they would have liked it, girls on the covers of our magazine. We could have approached it that way, tried to get girls that volunteer firemen would like. But instead, we decided to do a separate version. We kept the retired fireman on the cover, kind of guy with big arms and maybe a big belly, swinging away. Sent that to our traditional customer and excluded them from the catalog with a girl on the cover, with the fast pitch. When we found a huge market for this was for a dog grooming catalog, and instead of just it was the people didn't care how the dog looked. It was the dog clippers, we called them, but it was more generally for dog owners across the board. So it was probably a 20 times bigger market for somebody who just wanted their dog clipped in the spring than someone who wanted a coiffured look for the holiday picture or something, like $100 versus $14. And so we carefully excluded the professional dog groomers from this new promotion and grew the company 20%, but kept them separate. So you want to be careful. Okay, your job is to sell stuff. Nobody needs your opinion. Nobody gives a flying scheisse about your philosophy. Write that in big letters above your desk. Brand purpose is the first hiding place of bad marketers. I'll let that one go on its own. Marketing is about probabilities and likelihoods. The likelihood of one can of beer causing extreme damage to a category-leading brand was tiny. But you never know. Actually, G.K. Chesterton has a short story on this called The Ethics, or an essay, I would say, called The Ethics of Elfland. And he explains that the world does turn on things like this. Someone bites an apple, and all of a sudden sin runs rampant in the world. It's the way it is. He says, the world is generally rational and orderly, unless it isn't. He says there's an undercurrent of wildness, of unpredictability. And in science, the more we know, the more questions we have, right? The more we find out we don't know. And so watch out for hubris. I keep the Hubble deep space image on my computer. If I could turn the camera around, you'd see it right in front of me. Half the screen is galaxies that were unknown until the Hubble got up in space. Completely unknown. They had a pretty good idea of how big the universe was until Hubble. And it just blew the doors off everything. It completely blew the doors off. In one speck of space, the size of a grain of sand held at arm's length, they found 1,500 new galaxies, each containing about 200 billion stars. And it's that way in all directions. Now we know. Okay, social media is millions of unpleasant people looking to make trouble. You've been warned. What great words of wisdom from Ask and from Bob Hoffman, who I reached out to this morning, and I will tag in the article. Okay, this was exciting. I'm going to be speaking for Brian Kurtz tomorrow for his Titans, right? I'll put the link in, as I said. And there's a new variable that I haven't ever heard of. Now, just like the stars in the sky, I believe that there's probably an infinite number of variables that could be calculated for any event or any object. Like, how far is this from the center of the sun? Or how far is this from the most distant star, which is a lot further away than we thought. There's literally an infinite number of variables, most of which are worthless. You should keep that in mind also when you do your modeling. But this was interesting, and I'm going to explore it more. It's a 42-minute article from just last month. But I started looking up RFM because, I'm speaking on it, and I thought, well, is anybody still interested in it? And in the past month, there were literally dozens and dozens of articles discussing RFM, recency, frequency, monetary, if you don't know. And so I'm just stunned because I've been noodling around with RFM for literally, I would say 40 years. And, not really 40 years. We didn't do much with it until we really got further into the computer age. And we started applying computer technology to marketing. But certainly by the mid-'80s, we were exploring RFM. So, almost 40 years. And so this article cites it says, everybody cites recency, frequency, and monetary, but it suffers from insufficiency by ignoring other important parameters. Very, very true. I'm going to be talking about RFM from its inception all the way through to machine learning and AI, which is what this article does. Not the way I would do it, but anyway, they're adding diversity, and it's not the kind of diversity that Harvard talks about or the advertising community talks about. This is the diversification of products purchased by a given customer. They said most people will analyze what's bought with what, because they think that they can personalize with that, but it's a very dangerous game and it probably doesn't work. Instead, this paper discusses the idea of what variety is in the shopping cart, what categories, and what's interesting to me is this may really help at retail, but in most catalog companies that we look at, Cabela's were shocked when they found out that even though most of their friends hunted and fished, Dick said that. Dick hunted and fished. I showed him that only about 5% of their customer file bought both hunting and fishing, right? I think the explanation is that, I grew up fishing. I didn't need the world's best outfitter to tell me what to do for fishing, what would work and what fishing lures to buy. On the other hand, for hunting, I was new to hunting, so I wanted to buy good stuff, not make big mistakes. So I bought hunting from Cabela's, and I didn't buy much fishing. Anyway, I would recommend this article, and I'll post it in the show notes, available at wdma.org. You just have to go and subscribe, which is free. You will get notified if we have an event, or we'll try to notify you if we have an event. I'm trying, I'm trying more and more things with that, but nothing seems to work that much. But, I don't spend my time dreaming of how to email you. So you'll be lucky to get one or two a month. We should do more, I know, but that's the best we can do. So anyway, I recommend the article. Get over there and subscribe. Now, I'm punching my way through Neil Patel's article, and it seems to be getting better as we go. But it's definitely too much for one article. Direct mail is for all ages. We're at point number 10. I consider this, Neil writes, one of the most compelling reasons that direct mail isn't dead. And he cites statistics about only 62% of people over the age of 70 have a smartphone, and it decreases all the way to 17% as the age goes up. 46% of adult Americans, only 46% of adult Americans over 65, use Facebook. So they're not even available on one of the biggest social networks. I doubt if they use TikTok also. 33% of senior adults don't even access the internet. There you go. So direct mail, everyone checks the mail, and because of that, your postcards and coupons can turn just about anyone into a customer. Right. And a lot of times those seniors have real money, unlike the emerging Gen Zs. Direct mail is creative. When it comes to direct mail and creativity, the sky's the limit. Okay, and that we know is true from the fish example we saw. I wonder what they were marketing with that fish. It said, "Don't let the big ones get away." I'm not sure. That's all I could read on it. But I don't know what the product was. Anyway, here's a controversial example. And again, I kind of wonder how they marketed this. ADT, the security company, created a folded sort of envelope thing that had rubber bands inside it, and they'd slide it under the door over here. Can you see that? They'd slide it under the door. I apologize, it's a little bit small. They'd slide it under the door, and once it got inside, it would pop open. And it would say on it, "It's easier to break into your apartment than you might think." Because it looks like somebody broke in, left a box, and went out. And I guess there's then on the box or inside the box is information on how to subscribe to ADT services. But the post office wouldn't slide that under everybody's door. So they must have hired some kind of delivery person or something to do apartment buildings. Anyway, maybe the distributor, ADT local distributor. Maybe there is a local distributor. On the box it read, "Breaking into your apartment is easier than you think." And you think, did someone break into my house? A gym in Brazil struggled with members quitting because they didn't see immediate results. That's true. As a reminder that getting results takes consistent time in the gym, they send out calendars to their members with illustrated gradual progress they'd see if they stuck with the program. It's kind of a clever way to illustrate that, because they didn't really show, people with weight challenges. They showed mainly the silhouette with sort of extra lines around it, like, even if you're like that, you could be like this. It's a very, very clever illustration, I have to say. So coming up with flashy ideas is not easy if you're naturally creative. If you're not naturally creative, then talk with someone who is. If a security system, I like this, and a gym can come up with interesting direct mail pieces, the chances that you can too. Just takes a little extra thought. So, this is getting better as it goes along, but I'll chip in. I'll try to finish it up tomorrow. I thought I was going to finish it up today because I only had 4 to go, but I think this is going to be a good one too. So like and share, especially comment. I love some thoughtful comments, especially on Bud Hoffman's thoughts in the Bud Light article. That would be a great thing to talk about. So have a great day.